Hi. So, a lot of friends have asked me to share a recipe for a caipirinha, a typical Brazilian drink made with cachaça, that I have been kind of forced to perfect it throughout the years because of doing it so many times. And doing it so many times provided me probably some insights in how to do something that's repeatable and then also repeatable at a very high standard as far as the taste and the experience that you offer your client, your customer, your patron. So what I'm going to try to reproduce here for you guys is to show you what is that recipe. If replicated every time, it will every time provide a great experience on what a caipirinha, a typical Brazilian drink, has and is all about. So I hope you enjoy. So basic ingredients for caipirinha, right? First and foremost, you have the liquor, right? So the liquor is a cachaça. Cachaça is a distilled high-grade liquor comes from sugarcane, like rum. However, rum comes from molasses, and cachaça comes directly from the sugarcane itself. And there are thousands of different types of cachaças out there. And understanding what type of cachaça you want for the caipirinha you want to provide is also important. I typically say, listen, use a clear type of cachaça, whichever grade you want. There's so many out there. But use just a clear one, because then you will emphasize the overall drink and not the actual aged type cachaça. You will find ones that have been actually aged in different types of caskets, like oak, for instance. The other ingredient for cachaça is the lime. And the lime is very important, and I'm going to show you throughout building the recipe that there's a considerable importance to how you treat the lime, and not just for caipirinha, for any type of lime-based drink. Besides that, you want to have a very good cutting knife, cutting board, and you can do this caipirinha in a cocktail shaker. Should you not have one, you can also improvise by having two same old-fashioned type glasses. Yes, we serve caipirinhas in old-fashioned type glasses, and if you go one on top of the other, you can do your shaker. Okay, so you also need a very specific type of tool that normally you don't find, which is the molar. And the molar has different ways. You have this type of molar. You have a bigger molar. Now, should you not have something like this, because it's not typically find this in the U.S., there is a way out. Let me just show you. You can just use the other end of a wooden spoon, because you're going to mold each lime wedge at the bottom of an old-fashioned glass or a cocktail shaker. And so if you don't have a molar like this, just use the end of a wooden spoon. Okay, so here we go. I have all the ingredients, which means I have my cachaça, I have my lime, I have sugar. Yes, sugar for the ones that are not concerned with diet. Should you be concerned with diet, you can use an alternative artificial sweetener of your choice. You also need ice, bucket of ice here. I have the old-fashioned glasses, my cutting board, my knife, good cutting knife, and my molar. So let's talk about the lime first. The lime, there is a very specific issue about it when you do lime-based drinks. You want to make sure that something that's in here will make your drinks bitter. And that's the internal stem. There's a stem inside that needs to be carved out. And the way you do that is first you have what we call caps off. We're going to take both caps off and then cut this longwise and then carve out the stems. And then we'll wedge this lime into 8 pieces, which is always the number for one caipirinha. So one lime is sufficient for one caipirinha. So here you go, caps off. And now I want to cut this longwise. And you see you have the stem right here. and you have the stem right here. So what you want to do is you want to carve this out, right? And this is why it's important to have a good knife, because it comes out easy like that. You want to do this on both halves that you just sliced up longwise. And then you have carved out the major issue of making lime-based drinks bitter, the stem. Okay, now that you've done that, you're going to cut these wedges first in 4 pieces, and then you're going to cut them again, make this 8 pieces. Yes, and that's what you need for 1 caipirinha. Right? There are 4 wedges cut in halves. All right, very good. So for every caipirinha, and mind you, I've done this so many times over. I've promoted Caipirinha nights as a warm-up event in several different technology conferences across the United States. And everyone really kind of craved on going for the Caipirinha night because they had a good experience with the Caipirinha. So what you do is, okay, old-fashioned glass, and for those that are not diet concerned, they're having sugar, you want to have 1 soup spoonful of sugar, and that's it. Otherwise, if you're going to use your artificial sweetener, then you should use the dosage that you are accustomed normally with your coffee or with other type of drink that you actually sweeten. I typically have 4 or 5 drops if I compare this to a 1 soup spoonful of sugar. And now this is another very specific thing that I've learned throughout the times. That is, if I do the molding of each individual wedge, always with a shell up, I will get the better juice out of the wedge itself. And getting more juice out, I actually provide a better mix, a better balance, a better experience. So I am right now molding each individual half wedge down at the bottom of the glass with 1 soup spoon of sugar or the equivalent as an artificial sweetener. So you're going to be molding that, and I know that not everyone has a molar, so like I said, you can always use, and actually, let me showcase this to you. Let me take out my wooden spoon and show you that it's actually viable. So you're just going to actually do this. Put always your wedge, your half wedge, with the shell up. And that's where you're going to hit with the end of your wooden spoon. And you're going to mull it down. You're going to squish it down, right? So you can get the best juice out of it. All right, now that you've done that, now you're going to add your ice. Yes, now you add your ice. I normally say, listen, fill it up to the rim, because once you put the cachaça in, there's going to be some meltdown anyways. So this is what you want to do. You want to fill it up with ice. And now there is also a specific metric for how much cachaça you put in. So our first metric is 1 soup spoon of sugar at the bottom of an old-fashioned glass. Our second metric is 1 lime with caps off, stems carved out, wedges into 8 pieces, and molding each individual down to the bottom of your glass. 8. That means 1 lime. And now this is going to be the 7,000 count. So here we go. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005, 1,006, 1,007. Whoa, what do you know? They came right up a little least half of the top of the rim. So good choice. Now I'm going to do this the Brazilian way. Let's say I don't have a cocktail shaker. You can do this in a cocktail shaker, then transfer back to your old-fashioned glass. But if you want to do this the traditional way, where normally you're trying to use, creativity, what you do is take your other old-fashioned glass, you kind of line it as well as you can, right? As that custom fit like a puzzle piece. And then once you think you have that, take your fingers, wrap it around. It's going to splash a little bit, but it does a trick. You just do this. Here we go. And now this is a caipirinha ready to be savored, ready to be devoured, ready to be celebrated. So cheers for everyone. So here we are, our typical classic Brazilian drink, caipirinha, where it's a very simple drink. And if you repeat this exact recipe, you always have a winner. So again, you're talking about 1 lime, caps off, stems carved out, wedges halved into 8 pieces, and then you're going to have 1 soup spoon of sugar or the equivalent in sweetener at the bottom of the glass. Mull each individual half wedge at the bottom of the glass with shell up. After that, add your ice up to the rim, 7,000 count on your cachaça of choice, and then just shake it. And there you have it. It's better than any other lime-based drink that you have tasted before. So cheers to everyone.